What's up, guys? Welcome back to CNN Films and Animation. I'm Alan.
I'm Corey, and today we are going to give you guys a list of our top 10 movies that disappointed us the most within the last 5 years. So basically, in other words, these were the movies that we were really hoping would be good, really hoping that we would, just completely love based off the story, the, franchise, whatever it was, and yet somehow it disappointed us. So, to kick off things, we're going to have Alan give us his number 10.
Alright, my number 10 comes from 2012, animated movie. It won Best Animated Movie of that year, and that was Brave. Yes, Brave is beautifully animated. I expect nothing less from Pixar. The screening shots of Ireland are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Is Ireland, right?
Yeah.
Scotland.
Scotland.
Fuck! Okay. Beautiful shots of Scotland. Since I don't know. Beautiful scenery shots.
Mm-hmm.
Big, sweeping, lovely, but then the story is just almost a rip-off of Brother Bear.
Yeah.
Kind of. It just has story we've had before.
Mm-hmm.
So I was disappointed in it.
And oddly enough, my number 10 is Brave as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, I do admire the film on its technical level. As you said, the animation is absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
They put a lot of work into it.
Yes.
It's just, when it came to the story, I expected a little bit more from Pixar.
Mm-hmm.
Especially after, films like Up, WALL-E, Ratatouille,
Mm-hmm.
Toy Story franchise. I mean, just all these different stories, and they're just all fantastic and unique and different. And this one, like you said, it's just a rip-off of Brother Bear, in a way. And I was just hoping it was something different.
Yes.
So what's your number 9?
My number 9 is movie from 2011 called Shark Night.
Oh, okay.
I think it was in theaters at Shark Night 3D or something.
Mm-hmm.
I was interested in this movie. Yes, shark movies are a dime a dozen, I know that. The reason I got really interested in this movie was the poster. And it showed an up-close picture of a shark.
Mm-hmm.
It had its snout, and it actually had its, I can't think of the term, but pores, which sharks use to sense their surroundings and blood and whatnot.
Okay.
So I'm like, wow, they've got into a whole lot of detail for this poster. Maybe that'll translate to the movie. No, not really. The movie's kind of boring. It's far-fetched,
Mm-hmm.
even for what it tries to explain. And the motivation, it's a horror movie, of course, was really lackluster.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
My number 9 is the 2010 comedy from Kevin Smith, Cop Out. And the only reason why it's on my list, I was interested. Kevin Smith is one of those directors that he has made some really good movies in his time. One of my all-time favorites is Chasing Amy. I really like Dogma and the Clerks movies, but he really knows how to write and direct comedies. And with this film, you had Bruce Willis and Kevin Hart, and both are very funny people. I mean, Bruce Willis is known more for action, but he did start off in comedy, so I was interested in that aspect. But really, it just was not funny at all. Really kind of bland comedy that I was really surprised to see come out of Kevin Smith. So that's my number 9.
My number 8 is 2010 action movie, sci-fi action movie, Predators. I was really looking forward to it. I'm supposed to be introduced to a brand new Predator, and it looks the exact same as the regular one. And the story is not that interesting. It takes from like 1,000 other sci-fi elements.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bring in a whole group of individuals from different parts, and then they must work together to fight off the creature.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen that. Oh, let's switch it up and make them all professional murderers. That's been done too. It's just same old. As I said, the predator they promised looks exactly like the others.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's like a little bit smaller. Which I remember on the commercials they were like a new predator, and it's showing these creatures running on all fours, and it's like, ooh, what's that? Is it some kind of, I don't know, alien dog or something?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's something else. Yeah, it wasn't fun. It sucked.
Okay. My number 8 was the 2009 film The Box. This one I thought had an interesting premise. Basically, guy comes up and gives this couple a box and says, if you push the button, you'll get $1 million or something. But someone in the world will die. And it doesn't say who or anything. Doesn't even say if they know the person or not. But if they do, if they push it, they get $1 million. And so they push it, and it became a very bland and just
random.
Yeah.
I remember it was like, wait, it's all supernatural out of the blue, and wait, what's going on?
Yeah, it was very disappointing to me because I thought that they could have done so much with it, because it just had a very interesting premise, but it just became very weird and boring. So that's my number 8.
My number 7 is Red 2. Watched Red, thought it was an interesting idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like the characters, that was a pretty decent action movie. Not the best, not the worst. As I said, like the idea of it, these aging spies have to come back and show what they can do, and I thought it was great. Red 2 was disappointing because it's extremely forgettable. The action is meh, the story decides to be complicated when it's not really complicated. Yeah, it just wasn't what I hoped it would be.
Number 7 for me is the 2012 film Rock of Ages. Personally, I am a pretty big musical fan. I really enjoy, a good musical. Rocky Horror Picture Show, Grease, Singing in the Rain, you name it. But with this film, I thought it was a little forced. Didn't really enjoy the comedy or the singing for that matter. I just wanted to listen to the actual songs that they were singing rather than the cover versions of them, and it was just too long, too boring, and rather disappointing. So, yeah.
My number 6 film is 2013 film, The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. Right?
Desolation.
Desolation of Smaug. I like the first one. They did add some fluff to it, but really hoping for this one, and then they just add so much unneeded content, and they jump back and forth through the new storylines, which is distracting. Really looking forward to Smaug, which they did a really good job on. But then they switch back and forth. They had a love triangle for whatever reason, and it was a mess.
My number 6 is the 2013 action sequel, whatever, Good Day to Die Hard. The first trailer came out and there's no dialogue or anything. It was just music and explosions, and it was going to be rated R, and it's like, this could be the comeback to Die Hard. But instead it became the movie that was far from a Die Hard movie. And John McClane really had no purpose in the entire film, and it just was boring and bland and just god awful. I really did not like this movie. I know a lot of people didn't either, but I was really hoping for it to be kind of like the comeback, especially after Live Free or Die Hard, which is like on par with Die Hard 2 in comparison to A Good Day to Die Hard. So, yeah.
My number 5 is another 2013 film. 3 in a row here. This is one I thought would be a really neat idea. R.I.P.D. Really hoping first couple trailers thought was okay, this is cool. Then the next couple trailers, oh, I don't know about this. Then watch the movie. There's no explanation. There's no chemistry between anybody. It just kind of says, okay, here's what's going on. Bam! And that's it. It's like, okay, we know nothing about the department. We know nothing about the main character. His partner has no chemistry. Jeff Bridges' accent is terrible. And he can play a character from the country. He's done it before.
Very well, even. In fact, his one Oscar was him playing a country person. I know that.
Yeah. So, I know he can do it, but he comes off with the most stereotypical voice. And it's so bad. Ugh.
Yeah, just better to forget about that movie and just move on. My number 5 is one actually I'm surprised I even put on here, but thinking back on it, it makes sense. My number 5 is Paranormal Activity 3. Now, I was never a huge fan of the series, but I did watch the first 2. Actually, I saw the first 2 on DVD, but I enjoyed the first one. I thought it was kind of a neat idea. And the second one I liked even better. I thought it was very effective and, had put in a interesting twist on things, and it was like, okay, this is really cool. Now the third movie comes along, and not only was it very repetitive, but the ending was absolutely god-awful. I hated the twist that they put in this movie, and it just really took it out of me. And I really did not like where they went with the series from there on. Haven't seen the newest one that came out in January, but I might see it, might not, I don't know. So, yeah.
Number 4, movie from 2009, Watchmen. This is a film. It wasn't for me, and I'll admit it wasn't. I think it has its fans. We've done a review over it. If you want to know what I really think of it, do watch it.
Yeah.
It's mostly on here because I was in high school, saw the trailers for it, thought, man, this looks awesome. It's a comic book movie, superheroes and whatnot. I knew nothing about any of the characters. I still really don't. So I will admit that. But me and a friend went to see it, and we drove 60 miles to go see this movie, and in theaters. It was just long. Some of it was a tad boring. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I really like Watchmen. It is long, I admit, but I really like a lot of the characters, and that it's a little different from most superhero movies.
It is, and I'll give it that. And I did like some of the characters, such as Rorschach and the comedian. Even though the comedian is a horrible, horrible person.
Yeah.
But I thought he was done really well.
And I really liked the graphic novel that it's based on. I watched the motion capture, the motion comic rather, which was my first exposure to it. No, I lied. I watched the movie, didn't understand anything, watched the motion comic, and then rewatched the movie, and I was like, okay, I really like this movie. But yeah. My number 4 is The Hangover Part 2. The reason why it's on here is that usually comedy sequels aren't very good. I know that, just from a lot of experience and everything. Usually they're very disappointing. But it was the same director, same cast and everything. I think even same writers. And it's like, I thought the first film was pretty funny. Is it the best comedy of the last 5 years? No, I don't think so. Is it probably in the top 10? Yeah, maybe. But, it's not. I'm not the hugest fan of the first film, but I do like it. And the second one was just the same, and not in the good way. It just repeated itself, and it just wasn't funny. And so it disappointed me.
Number 3. 2010 film that I loathe. I was extremely disappointed about everything of this movie, and that was The Last Airbender. I really like the animated show this is based off of.
Mm.
It is a good show. What was the director? Shyamalan.
Mm-hmm.
That M. Night Shyamalan took a freaking dump on. I really wanted to like this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I really did, and he just changed
Everything.
He changed everything to the worst. It was so stupid. Got the names wrong. He changed locations that things happened at, and who was supposed to do what. The characters are bland in the animation. They're so lively and have their own personalities.
Mm-hmm.
They all have the same personality. Blank. Oh yeah, and all the characters are white.
Yeah. Personally, I haven't seen The Last Airbender. That's one that I'm kind of avoiding. Then again, I've never seen Avatar: The Last Airbender either.
You watched like the first episode or something?
Part of the first episode, back when it was on Netflix. I liked what I saw. I just haven't watched it. So it's on my to-watch list eventually. But the movie, yeah, based off of what I've heard, I'm not interested.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
My number 3 is the 2013 superhero film, Iron Man 3. Going into this, I was a big fan of Marvel comic book movies, especially after seeing the Avengers. Absolutely loved the Avengers. Loved the first Iron Man movie. Captain America, the first Avenger, was really good. Iron Man 2, don't really remember, but I did like it. And wasn't the biggest fan of Thor, but I still liked it. They really hadn't made a complete flop. And while I will say that Iron Man 3 isn't necessarily a big flop, it just was very disappointing coming out of the theater, especially thinking about it afterward. It was one of those that the more I thought about it, the worse it seemed. And while I was very entertained watching it in theaters, I think there's just too many problems for me to say that I really liked it. So to say it's definitely one of my most disappointing films, especially coming from Marvel.
Yeah, I agree. I agree so much. That's my number 2.
Huh.
Yes, Iron Man 3 being the first Marvel movie after the Avengers. Correct. It was a disappointment. True, in the theater we enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
But it leaves out some very, very important stuff. And just the overall commitment is not that good.
Mm-hmm.
There was no S.H.I.E.L.D., no other Avengers, just Tony Stark. The whole switch out of, oh, it's not really the Mandarin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but, yeah, on our review of when we first got out, we did we did enjoy it then, but as you think about it, there's a lot of plot holes.
My number 2 is the 2013 film The Purge. This is another film, kind of like The Box, where it had a lot of potential to be a very interesting and kind of different story. You know,
Yes.
The Purge basically was, you know, you get 12 hours a day, or 12 hours in 1 year to do whatever the hell you want. You know, you can kill someone, you can do whatever, police won't interfere, do anything.
Yep.
And what do? They keep everyone inside a house and turn it into a,
Home invasion movie.
yeah, and not even a good home invasion movie at
No.
that.
No, and the climax is pointless,
And
half the characters are bland.
and even the big reveal towards the end just was stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, very disappointed with
Yes.
that film.
Hopefully its sequel is better.
Yeah, hopefully. Now we move on to a couple of honorable mentions that we had. So why don't you go ahead and list off your 3 honorable mentions, and then I'll list off mine.
Alright.
Then we'll reveal our number 1.
Okay. Alright. Honorable mention number 1. Fast and the Furious 6. I really enjoyed Fast 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a heist movie, but it was fun. It was different. It was actiony. It was impactful. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I expected about the same. Nah, it wasn't the same. They tried, but the action was meh, lackluster in places.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have the same hit the 5th one did.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got Zero Dark 30. I really wanted to like this film,
Mm-hmm.
but it's kind of bland in some places. We did a review of that,
Mm-hmm.
so if you want to hear more about that one, check out that review. Just didn't care for it, and then they added on the whole finding of Bin Laden,
Yeah.
which they don't. It's just like, we're looking for him, and then, oh, we found him. No explanation how, no nothing. It's just, actually, they're not even looking for him throughout that whole movie. They're looking for his messenger.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, we think we know where the messenger is. And then it's, we're after Bin Laden. Wait, you skipped something here. What happened? Yeah. And then, last honorable mention, movie that got so much buzz, people still like to reference it. It's a meme still. And that is Inception. I'm not going to say it's a bad movie. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fine movie. A lot of people really love it.
Mhm.
I'm not one of them. But everybody was talking about it. I think you recommended, oh man, you gotta see this movie. It's so awesome. Everyone's like, it's an amazing movie. It's my favorite movie ever. All this stuff. It's dream within a dream within a dream. And all this. Oh, it's so awesome. That's all I heard about it. The hype was huge for it.
Mm-hmm.
Go in and watch it, I'm like, all the hype for this? It's okay. It's not bad, but dang. That was. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad movie.
Yeah,
I'm not
no.
gonna say it is.
I'm not saying you are.
But everyone loved this film. It just was so hyped up.
And I mean, I've told him, I'll tell you guys, when I told him about it, you know, I was working at a summer camp and got a weekend off, or rather a day off, and, you know, that movie was coming into theaters. Hadn't seen a trailer for it, didn't know much about it. I just knew that the director of Dark Knight and Prestige directed it. So a friend of mine and I went out and saw it opening weekend, not really knowing anything about it, and we just were like, holy crap, that was something that we never would have expected. And so, having not seen it before having not seen it after I saw it the first time and telling him about it. So I mean, maybe I built it up a little too much. Maybe it was just, but it was based off a theater experience with me. I just had a really good time with it, and I can understand where it would be disappointing, especially with the amount of hype.
Yeah.
But yeah. My honorable mentions are Cowboys and Aliens, Jon Favreau movie. This is one that wasn't a bad movie per se, it just could have been a whole lot more. Like, I just wanted all-out campy fun, just cowboys, aliens, duking it out, and, it took itself a little too seriously and felt a little bit longer than it should have been, but it was okay. Next honorable mention for me is John Carter. This is a Disney movie. Didn't have a whole lot of hope for it, but still interested considering that it was based off a series of books that inspired a lot of sci-fi films in 50s and beyond. And it it's kind of like the starting point for a lot of things. So I was very interested, hoping that they would make it awesome, and it just was disappointing and boring. It was like 2.5 hours long, roughly, and it just felt like it could have been cut by half an hour, maybe a little bit more. But yeah. And the last honorable mention, Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues. I did enjoy this movie to a point. I think that it could have been a lot funnier than what it was. I did not laugh nearly as much as I wanted to, but I will say this, it wasn't horrible. Especially considering a sequel 10 years later, it could have been a lot worse. I just was hoping for there to be more laughs than there was. So that's my last honorable mention. So what's your number one?
My number one is the 2011 film Transformers: Dark of the Moon.
Okay.
A lot of people are going, why were you expecting good things from that? I like the first one. I know it has its problems, and I'll admit it does.
Or even the bigger question, why isn't Revenge of the Fallen on that list?
Revenge of the Fallen is on this list because, unlike most people, I did enjoy it. That's partially because of the theater experience. I went with a good friend of mine. We were watching it, we were making jokes about some of the stuff in there, like the Defense Department being in New Jersey. We're like, well, there's your problem. Just making jokes, meant nothing. We were having a good time. We really enjoyed the movie, and yes, it has a lot of problems. I will admit that, with the racial stereotypes and the
robot testicles.
Yes, the robot balls.
But anyway,
it has its problems. So coming off that, with having a good experience watching 2, come to 3, see it like opening weekend, like so excited, really like Transformers, and it didn't care for the action. The story was meh. They introduce a lot of new. Main problem I had with they introduce a lot of new characters that are Autobots. They don't name them, which is irritating as heck. And Decepticons, they don't name a lot of the new characters in it. Like, they don't name any of the Wreckers, if I remember right. They just call them the Wreckers. That's the squad name. They each have a name, damn it. I had a problem with that. I had a problem with all of us from the first film. There was like, I don't know, like 20 or 30. That first film, second film, 20 to 30 Autobots.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a war back and forth. And then the third film, okay, there's 7 Autobots, and that's it. Number 2 didn't happen. Everything that happened that was in number 2 is gone. Shoot, 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 shoot.
We fucked up.
Which, Michael Bay coming forward and saying number 2 sucked, and he'll admit it. That's fine, but doing it in the third film, completely trying to wash away everything about the second film, you've already done it. Now your consistency doesn't make any sense. You got rid of characters for no reason. It even specifically says there's only like 7 or 9, I cannot remember. Which is like, what about all the other ones? It didn't happen. Nope, didn't happen. No. But whatever. Let's see. I did think it was a neat thing having, oh shoot, that legendary Autobot all of a sudden turn evil. I thought it was an interesting idea. I know from the series he doesn't, as far as I know, but I did think it was interesting. But then the end where Optimus kills everything. No, that's not Optimus. He would have gave both of them a chance. That's how Optimus is. He probably would have ended up killing Megatron, but Megatron would have struck first. But yeah, it was, I guess, the final nail in the coffin for it.
Okay. So, my number 1 is Zack Snyder movie that really kind of set the tone for my interest for Man of Steel. Man of Steel is not on my list, even though I did not really like it. This movie is the 2011 film Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch is one of those movies that it is so dumb and so over the top that
this is a movie that proves visuals do not make a movie.
Yeah.
Because it really tries to make itself on its visuals, which some are neat. I'll give it that.
But when they are uncohesive with the story,
Yep.
especially when you're having, the main girl, her goal is to get a key from the chef. I'm just making stuff up as I go. It was kind of like that, but not very. It was kind of.
That was one of the things she was trying to do. She's trying to get certain objects to help herself and some other girls escape from this mental institute, which she uses her imagination to go into different worlds to do it. It doesn't make any sense, and each one of them's different.
But okay, she's going to get the key from the chef. And in order to do this, she has to fight Nazi zombies in an over-the-top World War II CGI fest
That's one.
that literally makes no bloody sense. Like, what does Nazi zombies even have to do with getting a key?
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense. It's one of those movies that it could have been interesting.
Yes.
It could have been good. And I also can't get past the fact that it, made me feel a little filthy watching it, because these girls, they're like 14 or something.
Yeah, and she's imagining herself as a prostitute.
Yeah, I mean, it just...
What? No.
Yeah.
Was she? I thought she was supposed to be like 16 or something.
Still.
Yeah, I know, underage, but it's better than 14.
Well,
It's still bad.
doesn't make it better.
I know.
But yeah, no, I did not like this movie. And I was a fan of Zack Snyder. Like, I really liked the remake of Dawn of the Dead. I liked 300, even though it's not a movie I can watch a lot. And unlike you, I really liked Watchmen. So based off of those 3 movies, I was excited for Sucker Punch because I'm like, you know what? He has done 3 really good movies. 2 maybe for you. But you know, after seeing this, it kind of took me back, and I'm like, I don't know about this guy anymore. You know, this just was not very good. I gave him the benefit of the doubt, but Man of Steel,
Yeah, it wasn't much better. Well, it was better, but it still had a lot of problems.
Yeah, I think I probably would say Man of Steel, or Iron Man 3 didn't nearly have as much problems as Man of Steel.
Yeah.
At least Iron Man 3 was entertaining.
Yeah.
But yeah, I completely hated Sucker Punch, and that is probably one of the worst movies that I've seen in the last 5 years, and it is my most disappointing film of the last 5 years.
Okay.
So tell us, guys, what do you think of our lists? Do you agree with them, disagree with them? What are your top 10 most disappointing films of the last 5 years? Share with us in the comments. We'd love to hear your feedback.
If you like this video, be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and be sure to check out our other videos.
Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. If you have any movie suggestions or TV suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And as always, I'm Corey,
I'm Alan.
and we'll see you guys in the next one.
See you guys later.